It was a Halloween night unlike any other. The moon hung low in the ink-black sky, casting an eerie pallor over the decrepit house I had recently moved into. Nestled on the outskirts of town, it was a place whispered about in hushed tones, with tales of unspeakable horrors echoing through the community. As I recount this chilling story from the perspective of the victim, I find myself reliving the spine-tingling moments that forever haunt my nightmares. With a flickering candle in hand, I ventured into the house's attic, my heart pounding in my chest. The wooden steps leading up to the attic groaned under my weight, as if protesting my intrusion. Each creak sounded like an ominous omen, a warning that I was about to unearth something sinister. In the dimly lit attic, ancient cobwebs hung like tattered curtains, casting a spectral, ethereal veil over the place. But what drew my attention was an ornate mirror, buried under layers of dust and memories of long-forgotten souls. Its frame, intricate and gilded, seemed to whisper tales of its own. With trembling hands, I approached the mirror, not fully comprehending the malevolent forces that were about to be unleashed. My reflection should have been a familiar sight, but this mirror held a wicked secret. The eyes that stared back at me were not my own. They gleamed with a malevolent intelligence, like a maleficent being imprisoned within the glass. A sudden chill washed over me, and a sense of dread tightened its grip on my chest. The reflection grinned, a grotesque, unnerving smile that sent shivers down my spine. Before I could react, an icy touch brushed my shoulder, and I spun around, gasping in terror. But there was no one in the attic with me, only the haunting silence of the abandoned space. It was at that moment that I realized I had unwittingly awakened something sinister within that mirror, and it was not content with remaining confined. The mirror's malevolence reached out to me, toying with my mind, binding me to its sinister will. Terrified, I fled from the attic, but it was too late. The mirror's presence followed me, haunting my every moment. Whispers emanated from the attic, beckoning me to return, growing louder and more insistent with each passing night. My reflection in the mirror grew increasingly malevolent, as if it sought to escape its prison. The nightmares I experienced were unbearable, each one centered around the sinister mirror and the malevolent force it harbored. I became sleep-deprived, a prisoner of my own dread, my sanity slipping away like sand through my fingers. In a desperate bid for salvation, I sought the counsel of a local historian, one who knew the town's darkest secrets. As we delved into the house's history, the historian's expression grew increasingly grave. The mirror had once been used for dark and abhorrent rituals by a previous owner, and the malevolent spirit trapped within was determined to break free. Together, we devised a plan to rid the mirror of its dark inhabitant, but the task was not for the faint of heart. It involved a nightmarish journey into the realm of the supernatural, with rituals and incantations that sent chills down my spine. As we performed the banishing ritual, the attic pulsed with an oppressive, malevolent energy. It felt as though the room itself resisted our efforts, an otherworldly force that sought to protect the malevolent spirit within. But as the clock struck midnight, and we chanted the final incantation, the mirror trembled, and I watched in terror as it shattered into 1,000 glistening pieces. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and it seemed as though the malevolent presence had been banished from our world. With the mirror shattered, the house felt lighter, and I could finally rest. But on Halloween nights, when the moon hung high and the wind howled through the ancient trees, I couldn't help but wonder if that malevolent spirit still lurked in the shadows, waiting for another unsuspecting victim to peer into a different mirror. This tale serves as a stark reminder that not all reflections are what they seem, and some mirrors hide the darkest of secrets, waiting to ensnare the unwary. The night was shrouded in an eerie mist, and the full moon hung low in the sky, casting an ethereal glow over the ancient forest that bordered my small town. The tale I'm about to tell you is one of my own experiences, a chilling Halloween night that forever changed my perspective on the supernatural. As I made my way through the woods, I could hear the rustling leaves and the ominous hoot of an owl echoing like a haunting symphony. I had heard the local legends about these woods, stories of restless spirits and lost souls, but I had always dismissed them as mere superstitions. Little did I know that this Halloween night, those legends would become all too real. I had ventured deep into the heart of the forest, guided only by a flickering lantern that barely held the encroaching darkness at bay. It was then that I saw it, an ancient gnarled tree standing alone in a small clearing, its bark etched with cryptic symbols and strange glowing markings. Approaching the tree, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The air grew colder, and the eerie whispers of the wind seemed to take form. In a trance, I placed my hand on the tree's twisted trunk, and that's when I heard it, a soft, melodic whisper that sent shivers down my spine. The whispers were barely audible, like distant voices from another realm, beckoning me deeper into the woods. I couldn't resist the pull, and I followed the spectral voices deeper and deeper into the darkened forest. As I ventured further into the woods, the world around me transformed. Trees seemed to come alive, their branches reaching out like gnarled fingers, and ghostly figures darted just beyond my vision. The whispers grew louder, filling my mind with an insistent chant, like an incantation from an otherworldly realm. I lost track of time as I delved deeper into the heart of the forest. The spectral voices seemed to guide me with a purpose, leading me to an ancient, overgrown cemetery hidden among the trees. It was a place of forgotten graves and forgotten souls, where time had stood still for centuries. In the center of the cemetery stood a weathered, moss-covered tombstone, and the whispers now became a chorus, urging me to unearth its secrets. My hands trembled as I brushed away the dirt and leaves, revealing an inscription in a language I could not understand. As I touched the tombstone, a surge of energy coursed through me, and the whispers became a deafening cacophony. Suddenly, a pale, ethereal figure rose from the grave, its eyes fixed on me with a mixture of longing and sorrow. It spoke to me, its voice a haunting echo of the past, recounting a tragic tale of love and betrayal that had bound it to this cursed forest. The spectral figure begged me for release, for a chance to find peace. With trembling hands, I agreed to help, following the instructions it whispered to me. As I completed the ritual, a blinding light enveloped the figure, and a sense of calm descended upon the woods. The whispers faded into the distance, and I was left standing alone in the quiet darkness. The ancient forest had reclaimed its stillness, and I made my way back to the town, forever changed by the spectral encounter. From that Halloween night forward, I could never look at the whispering woods the same way again, knowing that the spirits of the past still lingered, waiting for someone to hear their stories and offer them redemption. Hollowbrook Manor had always been the mysterious shadow on the outskirts of our sleepy town. For years, we'd whispered tales of its eerie past, but I had been the quintessential skeptic, brushing off the ghost stories as mere campfire tales. I never imagined that one Halloween night, the manor's malevolence would transcend folklore and manifest as an unforgettable horror. I received a peculiar invitation to a masquerade ball at Hollowbrook Manor. The event had an air of enigma and an aura of decadence that I couldn't resist. Eager for a thrill and the chance to debunk the rumors once and for all, I gladly accepted the invitation. The full moon hung low in the sky, casting an otherworldly glow over the winding path leading to the manor. A sense of unease pricked at my senses, but I dismissed it as pre-party jitters. The entrance to Hollowbrook Manor was nothing short of a Gothic masterpiece. Ivy-covered gates creaked open to reveal imposing stone gargoyles and a flickering lantern that beckoned me with a spectral light. Stepping through the gates, I entered a grand ballroom with chandeliers that danced with ominous grace, and portraits of long-dead nobility peered down from the walls, their eyes following me with an eerie intensity. The masquerade guests, shrouded in masks and costumes, glided across the floor with an uncanny elegance. It was as if I had stumbled into a portal to another era, a place lost in the sands of time. The stories of the manor's haunting suddenly felt more tangible than ever. As the night unfolded, I found my curiosity piqued by a door at the far end of the ballroom, leading to the forbidden wing. Legends whispered of a malevolent spirit trapped there, cursed for eternity. A forbidden adventure called to me, and I acquired the key to unlock the door. What I discovered within was a shadowy, neglected chamber, its air heavy with the scent of age-old books and secrets. A massive mirror dominated one wall, its surface a dark, inky abyss. Compelled by an irresistible force, I gazed into the mirror, and in that moment, I realized the stories were not fabrications. My reflection was a grotesque mockery of my own image. It grinned with wicked delight, and its eyes, malevolent and cunning, seemed to stare into my very soul. Panic gripped me, but it was too late. The mirror's hold was inexorable. The reflection's sinister laughter filled the room, while my body moved autonomously on the other side of the glass, as though I was a helpless puppet. My existence had become trapped within the cursed mirror. Desperate and fearful, I sought out a fellow guest who claimed to be an expert in the paranormal. Together, we unraveled the dark history of Hollowbrook Manor and the mirror's malevolent curse. Long ago, an evil sorcerer had bound a vengeful spirit to the mirror, inflicting a curse that ensnared anyone who dared to peer into its depths. Breaking this curse was no ordinary task. It required a perilous ritual, a journey into a nightmarish spirit world where the malevolent entity would fight to retain its dominion over our souls. Undeterred, the expert and I, along with a group of courageous companions, embarked on this perilous journey, fully aware of the risks involved. The ritual transported us to a world of eerie illusions and ghostly apparitions, where the malevolent spirit taunted us relentlessly. It sought to maintain its stronghold on our very souls, but we pressed on, driven by an unwavering determination to break the curse. In the climactic showdown, we confronted the malevolent entity, a battle of wits and courage that sent shivers down our spines. Through sheer will and unwavering resolve, we managed to weaken its hold and, with a final desperate surge of power, shattered the mirror. In that moment, the curse was broken, and the malevolent spirit was finally freed. Hollowbrook Manor, once a place of darkness and despair, was forever changed. The malevolence that had haunted its halls had dissipated, leaving a sense of peace in its wake. As Halloween night faded into memory, I left the manor, forever marked by my encounter with the supernatural. I had come to realize that sometimes the most haunting tales bear kernels of truth, and that spirits, even those ensnared in the darkest of curses, can find release in the most unexpected of places.